You can't squeeze the love out of his heart. If he doesn't give it freely, you don't want it. I saw that in a movie the other day, which inspired me to create this video because that's so true. You don't want something that you have to chase, that you have to make happen, that you have to control. You want it to be given to you freely. You want to be able to receive. And that's why I created this video for you to go from chasing it, trying to squeeze it out of his heart, to you actually receiving, feeling comfortable receiving love, why you are chasing, and what you can do about it to start receiving unconditionally without going after it. Number one, because you're scared, you're not going to receive it. You chase it because you're scared, you're actually not going to receive it. You are trying to avoid that childhood pain that you felt when you didn't receive the love. Or maybe at one point you were receiving love, and then all of a sudden something happened and that stopped. You were distanced from that source of love, whether it was physically or emotionally. Majority of the time, it's actually emotionally more than even physically. So now you're trying to avoid that from happening. So you keep chasing it. It's this cycle. Everything is a cycle that feeds into itself. For example, whatever you put out there is exactly what comes back in. Cause and effect. It's a natural law. It's a hermetic law of cause and effect. What you put out comes back. So if you're putting out there that you need to chase love, it doesn't freely come in, that's exactly what you're going to attract. So you're chasing it because you're scared you're not going to receive it. And you are trying to control that from not happening again. You are trying to control you not feeling that feeling ever again. I know I did that, and I had no idea that this is what was happening in the background when I was stuck in those loops over and over again until I started to clear that pain that never was released properly from me. That emotional pain, that wound from childhood that didn't clear up because let's face it, we weren't taught to do that. We weren't taught to process our emotions and release them. As a society, I've come across very few people who are actually taught this from young. And then what would happen is I would repeat the cycle because what happens is when you're chasing, you are definitely attracting a person that is maybe more avoidant or more pushed back or is scared in their own way. They have their own traumas, their own wounds, and their own issues. So you are going to automatically attract that person, that whole mirror effect of how you feel inside. They're going to be sending that right back to you. So if you feel that you're not lovable or that you're scared that you can't receive love, you are going to attract that person that is going to, they're not going to make you feel that way, but their actions and the way they are, their way of being will have you feeling that way because it's going to trigger that abandonment wound, that fear within you. And all you're doing is repeating the same cycle. You are proving that you can't receive love, that you have to chase it, that there's something wrong with you. You're not good enough. You're not lovable, whatever it is underneath all of that. That's number one. And that's a biggie. Number two, you don't feel fully safe to receive love within you. Because if you surrender, you allow, and you trust, it might be taken away. Abandonment, anxious attachment, it all blends. Even the fear of rejection at the end of the day as well. Avoiding you fully allowing yourself to receive love exactly the way you are. Because what if it's taken away? Another part is if I receive that, what am I going to have to do in order to receive? Because there wasn't that unconditional love. It's like love or anything that you received came with the price. You had to be a certain way. You couldn't be yourself in order to receive love. So it's this fear of, but if I receive it, one, it could be taken away. And then what? I'm going to have to go through the pain, the heartache, all of that. And then number two, if I allow myself to receive this, if I allow myself to fully, unconditionally come in, to fully trust, what's going to happen? What are you going to have to do in order to receive that? What price does it come with? This way, if you receive nothing, then you're all good to go. There was someone that I had dated once that didn't want to receive anything from anybody because he was worried that if he received, there'd be something he'd have to give. He couldn't just receive, and he wasn't much of a giver on top of it all, but that's his stuff. He would just rather you do you, I do me, leave me alone, separate. That's where he felt the safest in his life, is just complete separation. So those are two big reasons why you're not receiving, because really the unconditional love is all around you. It doesn't even have to come from a specific person. It's everywhere. And once you start to allow yourself to receive what already exists in your now, in this moment, you start to open up to allowing yourself to receive it from other sources as well. Learning that it's safe to receive without having to give your left arm over to that person, your left leg, whatever it is, without it being a huge price. And it also allows you to then give without a price, without any expectations. Because if you're scared to receive, that it's going to cost you something, when you give, do you expect something in return? Because when you start to give unconditionally, you also start to begin to receive unconditionally without any expectations. Now, I found for me, what worked faster was healing that giving without any expectations. So being loving, sending a loving text without any expectation of any sort of return, just me giving, sharing my love, and that was it. No expectation. And that was very freeing because nothing would get taken away from me because I didn't expect anything. I just was. Then it was working on allowing myself to receive afterwards. For me, I found it easier to start noticing the ways around me I started receiving love, or I was receiving love, or I received love throughout my life. Really looking at, where have you received love throughout your life in every moment, even in the smallest things. Then I was also connecting with my guides, a higher power, all of that, to feel the energy coming into me. I found that also very powerful for me as well. And then I also started to notice people around me wanting to give, wanting to support me, really loving and such giving humans started popping up without any expectations of anything in return, and me getting more and more comfortable with allowing myself to receive that it wasn't going to cost me anything. Of course, I'd still go into that, oh my God, I appreciate this so much. What can I give? Because I wanted to, because I appreciated it so much, but not from a space of, oh my God, what is this going to cost me? Can I afford this? Can I afford my left leg to give to this person? And then number three, the ego feels safe chasing. Your ego, because of your childhood, because of your experiences, feels safer chasing. Your nervous system understands that. That becomes the normal. It has a role. It's keeping you safe. Chasing is what's keeping you safe. And when I say chasing, it doesn't necessarily mean physically chasing, constantly texting, running after that person. It could simply be energetic. When you are constantly thinking of that person, you are constantly sending out your energy. You're being depleted. That is a form of chase. It all starts with the energy first, before anything externally. Even more important than anything externally. Once you get to the point where you're like literally physically chasing someone externally, that's a whole other ballgame. And I don't think too many people are actually at that level. A lot of it is energetic, or maybe over texting, over accommodating, that type of stuff. So when you stop the chase, you just stop and you trust and you allow the nervous system starts to go a little haywire because it's like, oh my God, but then I'm not going to receive it. Oh my God, but then I'm not going to receive it. It starts freaking out. It's not comfortable in this. So you start to also need to reprogram your nervous system, getting comfortable with the receiving. That's where, if you start to look at the little things within your life and allow yourself to receive, you start to condition your nervous system again to allow yourself to receive. When you start to clear out those limiting beliefs, when you start to clear out the wounds, the trauma that you're holding within your body with somatic work, my favorite, EFT tapping, breath work, those are my favorites. Some energy work as well, combining it all, mindfulness. Those are my favorite combo that I work with. And I do take private sessions on Wednesdays if you're interested. The link will be below. You start to do that work as well as also recognizing what is in the now and getting your nervous system used to acknowledging and receiving. You start to get more and more comfortable. You start to get more and more comfortable. And then you start to attract more things to receive unconditionally. People that might be around you start to change. You start to attract people that have their hearts more fully open, that are able to hold more unconditional love within them. You start to feel safe in the receiving things out of nowhere. It almost becomes normal. You as well also open up your heart even more. You're able to give even more in one form or another. You become more comfortable in the flow of the give and take, the natural without any expectations. It's just a natural energy that starts to flow, that shows up in your reality. So what can you do about it? Well, one, remember this. As you're going out throughout your day, remember all of this and start becoming mindful of the sensations in your body, of your thoughts, all of that. The most important thing you can do for yourself is becoming mindful of you without shaming yourself or guilting yourself, any of that kind of stuff. And like I mentioned, your somatic work in order to start releasing everything, all the wounds and everything from your body, calming the amygdala and allowing that emotion, the old emotions, the old energy that's been buried within your body to release. And of course, getting more comfortable bringing that in, bringing in the receiving energy and allowing your body to adjust to it slowly, slowly. You don't have to do this all at once because if you do too much at once, your ego is going to start to go insane. It's going to be like, oh my God, red alert, red alert. It's going to be like all scared because all it wants to do is protect you. So what you're doing is getting more comfortable, feeling safe in what you want to bring in and how you want to live, which is really more authentic to who you are. Because everything right now is not your truth. It actually is not who you are. If you're chasing love, that is not naturally who you are. That's not your authentic self. Your authentic self is unconditional love, no matter what, is able to receive and is able to give and is completely calm in all of it. That is your authentic self. So if you want to go further, I'm going to include a tapping video on this. I also have a tapping playlist if you want to really dig deep into that. And if you want to go more specific to you, I am taking privates on Wednesdays.